Like how whoever Adam Schiff supports, we need to not support.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when in doubt, just like do the opposite as Adam Schiff and probably be fine.
Yeah, he's such a piece of Schiff.
Maybe they really underestimated the effect of like things like social media and information, because it's like everybody's way more just like, it's almost gone too far where like everybody's so into conspiracy theories now. Like no one believes anything. Like we
Yeah.
have nothing to believe in anymore. Everyone's like everything is bullshit. It's like the rise of like flat Earth and other theories. It's just like a lot of that is like just because everyone's just so, they've been lied to so much, they just don't believe anything from any of the institutions. They're like, even all of science must be fake.
So who's that? What was the name of that guy that made flat Earth popular again?
Is it Eric Dubay?
Yes. So that guy was all into Paul from the Beatles. Paul McCartney was a clone and into clones.
Oh, he is
And
pushing.
then-
He is the guy pushing that.
Yeah, and then he got into flat Earth, and then that really took off. So I think he's a Fed
Totally, yeah.
meant to make other conspiracies look bad.
That's what I always think. Like some of these conspiracies come out, and not to say there isn't anything in them, but you like look into it, and it just, yeah, I think it's all just to discredit shit. You're just like, when you really look into it.
He's poisoning the well.
Totally, yeah. Because then everyone looks at you and because that's that's one of the big ones that they always bring up. Like whenever you bring up any kind of governmental conspiracy theory, you're like, you're just a bunch of flat earthers, and it's like the modern tinfoil hat thing, where they're just like, put on your tinfoil hat. You're like, what other conspiracies do you believe in? And you're like, actually, like, the Epstein Island theory was true. That's like not crazy at all. We're 100% right about that. So. And about like, other things like the war. You could say what you want about like things like the war on terror and whether or not like something like 9/11, the conspiracy of that is true or not or anything.
Yeah.
But like that was obvious. They obviously used that as a convenient opportunity to push like their pro-war agenda and make money, regardless of any of that. So it's like
We were lied to about the weapons of mass destruction.
Totally, yes. Like there was none of that in Iraq, dude. It was like one thing when you're like, we're gonna go in Afghanistan and go after Bin Laden, okay, but then they're like immediately like, okay, Iraq's next on the agenda. You're like, what? Like when did that happen? And he was like so sanctioned and everything, and like watched like Hussein. Like how the hell were they gonna like do anything after the first Iraq war? Like, are they really a threat? Like, no. But we made a lot of. Well, I didn't make any money, but they made a lot of money. It's like you'll drop like all these people drop like super chats on Tim Pool's shit, hoping he reads it, and he just doesn't read any of them. He's like, "Cool, next, whatever."
Right.
Like
how much
I dropped money to he didn't read my shit.
how much
But,
for
like, some of the-
Gold to read a super chat?
Toy, yeah, toy. Yeah, he's gotten big recently. He's like, well, I don't know recently, but
He's like a Reddit atheist though.
atheist. That's hilarious. Yeah. I don't hate all atheists though. He's like way more sensible than most atheists.
Yeah, he doesn't talk about it nonstop.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like I totally get where a lot of them are coming from. I think a lot of things are like semantics and how you choose to define things. And like the word God is a tricky one because it's like, I could see why people just have trouble like thinking of God as something like a conscious entity with sentience, and that's like how it's presented by most religious people. And I think that turns off a lot of like scientifically minded like atheist types.
Mhm.
But it's like a lot of it's just semantics. It's like no one can actually sit there and definitely tell you like God is this conscious being or something, maybe or not, but it's like that just goes beyond to a. These are the discussions that are gonna get me to lose all of my followers talking about God and
So when we talk about Eric Dubay, we should put up a picture of him with like a dunce cap riding a unicycle.
That's the missing link. It's this Dubai dude. That's the fucking Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney clone. Like once you said that, I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, that's totally a psyop. It's like the missing link.
Yeah, getting into that stuff isn't necessarily too bad because it'll help you filter out, learn how to tell what's legit or not.
Totally, yeah.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it does make you wonder some of these like pitfall theories. Like I was always thinking like when we went to that 9/11 conspiracy theory stuff, all these people are presenting their 9/11 conspiracies. And you go from like this guy is like, oh, they just knew about it and let it happen, all the way to like, oh, it was like some 3D projected hologram. You're just like, what? It
Yeah, the
wasn't a real
planes were
plane, it was a
holograms.
hologram. You're just like, okay. I think you're really discrediting all of us. It's just like, just think the government used this as a convenience to pass an act that they wanted, like their Freedom or Patriot Act.
I could see it
They
being
were
like
just like waiting, like we just need a
production.
terrorist attack to justify this lockdown of power.
Oh no, there's that one footage where the plane just like,
Redacted.
Yeah.
which is damning of it in itself, you know.
What do you
Didn't
mean,
go
like
Redacted.
it's in the air?
no into the building. Like they want you to think it like went through the building,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
the plane, you know.
Yeah.
Most of it just like
Redacted.
on it.
Redacted.
Totally. Yeah.
It's a big piece of aluminum.
Yeah.
Then there's the pancake theory.
Yeah. But a
I
lot
feel
of
like
it's like it might be like true or but it's like stuff where I don't have enough to go on where I can like present these arguments in a convincing way to people where it's like I don't really know, like I don't have enough data, like nobody really has enough data on like controlled demolitions of a building of that size and magnitude as far as like the theories of the building falling faster than like free fall, which would have had to have been created by a vacuum effect, like maybe that's the case, but like I don't really even have enough data or like information on all of that stuff to I feel like be able to convince the average person even if it's true. Whereas like stuff like them needing like a terrorist attack in order to pass the Patriot Act and Freedom of Information Act, and them having intel and like George Bush being on video being told and warned of like an incoming plane attack like months before it happened. Like those are pretty fucking damning evidence that you can't refute. The third building falling down that we still don't even talking about, building 7, like that made no fucking sense.
Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
That's damning evidence, but they talk about this other stuff instead of the stuff that's just like absolutely refutable and damning to that current government and administration. And like they obviously wanted like something to happen so they were waiting, like everything was in step. They had that Patriot Act like already written. It's like 500 plus pages, dude, just ready to go. Like they were obviously like waiting. Then there's stuff like that the average person wouldn't know. That's like stuff I experienced. That's like our relative being in Microsoft, being higher up. Like he was supposed to have a meeting at the World Trade Center that day with Microsoft with Bill Gates. And they, inexplicably moved the meeting that day to Central Park, like Bill Gates at the last second moved the meeting to Central Park. So they were all spared their lives, Bill Gates and everyone for that. That could be a total coincidence, but considering everything else and Bill Gates' involvement in the media and giving money to the mainstream media to bail him out of telling lies and losing audience, like there's a lot of things that in hindsight you're just like, yeah, that dude probably knew what was going on. I can't say that for sure, but it's like when you look at everything else, when you have so much circumstantial evidence and all of the motivation in the world, like these dudes had all, like when you look at it from like a murder case, who's the one that's most motivated? It's like our current government and administration that's doing everything in their power to like take away rights. They're trying to pass that Freedom Act in the 90s with like Joe Biden. And look, all the way to this day, you have them like putting in Joe Biden, who's like old and decrepit, and they still throwing that guy in there because They gotta pay him back, you know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 9/11 was so long ago now. Like when 9/11 happened, that's how old JFK was
Yeah.
to 9/11, and now that much time has passed. And I think people back then were screaming to the rooftops about the JFK conspiracy.
Oh
We
yeah.
screamed to the rafters about 9/11, and nobody cared.
Yeah, totally. And that was such an opportunity for them. Like the JFK assassination. There's even the theories about like Richard Nixon wanting to expose that, and that's why they put the hammer on him, the Central Intelligence Agency, and the FBI set him up.
Yeah. But yeah, what are you doing later?
Nothing. Cat balling.
Nice. Yeah.
You're like, I'm done with this. You fucking suck. You're so boring.
No, I have to like eat and
I'm
run
like
errands.
talking to a fucking cat. This is stupid.
Yeah, just put a bunch of dicks on our faces and post off and fart noises. Everybody will laugh.
Oh yeah. That's kind of what I
there's a
think.
dick in his mouth.
Yeah. Especially anytime you say stuff seriously, you just put a dick in his mouth while he's like
Yeah.
ranting like I'm all smart.
Thanks for watching this clip from Cat Ballz. Subscribe to watch the full episode and more clips like this, and we'll catch you next time.